Hello, this yoga class is a really grounding yoga flow. It is great if your mind feels completely active at the moment, if you've had a really busy day and you just want some grounding during the evening to aid a better night's sleep. So we're going to get started in a kneeling position. If you need to pad up your mat to support your knees, please do. Just coming down into a seated position, hips towards the heels. Extend and lengthen out through the spine and just take your hands to face down onto the knees. Rolling the shoulders away from the ears and close off the eyes. And just take a moment to notice the points of contact that your body is making with the earth. And the shins touching down, tops of the feet, all 10 toenails. And just start to bring your awareness and your attention to your breath. Just notice the inhales and the exhales. And just inviting them in through the nose and out through the nose. And depending on maybe what kind of day you've had or how you're feeling right now, you might notice that the breath feels either a little bit constrained or maybe it's quite deep and long. So inhale through the nose for 1, 2, 3. Exhale 1, 2, 3. Inhale 1, 2, 3. Exhale 1, 2, 3. Inhale 1, 2, 3. Exhale 1, 2, 3. Just continue like that in your own time with your own breath. On your next inhale through the nose, make this your biggest breath of your day so far and just hold the breath at the very top. And then exhale, slowly let it go, release. And start to open through the eyes. Inhale, we'll reach both arms all the way up and out to the side, gazing up towards the sky, up towards the hands as they touch towards each other. Ribs hug in. Exhale, hands through heart center. We'll take the left hand over towards the right thigh or the right knee, and the right arm reaches back behind you. Feel free to take a block or anything to support the height here. So you've got this lift into the spine. Inhale, finding space and length, and exhale, we'll just start to twist. So right shoulder is moving back behind you, left shoulder is moving forward. And just start to deepen the twist with the breath. So inhale, find space, and exhale, twist. And slowly, when you're ready, just releasing. We'll go for the opposite side. So right hand either onto the left thigh or the left knee. Inhale, lengthen into the spine, and exhale, start to find that twist. So this time, right shoulder is moving forward, left shoulder is moving back behind you. Navel is drawing in towards the spine, so you've got that support from the center as we twist. And the twist is really unraveling from the very middle of the spine. And slowly releasing. From here, we'll rise up into an all fours position, so planting down firmly through the hands and the knees. Knees are directly stacked underneath the hips. We've got the fingertips placing down onto the earth, directly underneath the shoulders. Shoulder blades are slightly spreading wide. You've got the crown of the head moving forward, tailbone moving back behind you. We'll go for a few rounds of cat and cow here, just to wake up into the spine. So inhale, start to drop through the belly, lifting upwards through the heart and the chest. Heart is moving through the gates of the arms as you roll the shoulders away from the ears, expand into the chest. Exhale, rounding into the spine, so really press the floor away, curling the tailbone under. shoulder blades spreading wide, and head and neck is fully relaxed. Inhale, finding that space, finding that length, gazing forward. Exhale, rounding into the spine with the breath. And we'll take 3 more rounds in your own time. So inhale, dropping through the belly, lifting the heart upwards. Exhale, rounding into the spine, curling everything into center, connecting into your core. Last 2 rounds, inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. On your next inhale, drop the belly, lifting up through the heart and the chest. Tuck the tailbone, tuck the toes under. And start to lift the hips all the way up to the sky, downward facing dog. And this is maybe our first downward facing dog of the day, I don't know. You might have done one earlier. Pedaling out through the feet, bending one leg, straightening out through the other. And so we've got a leg's length distance from the wrist crease all the way through to the heels. You're relaxing the head, relaxing the gaze, rolling those shoulders away from the ears. So imagine that the right elbow is moving towards the left knee and the left elbow is moving towards the right knee. We're creating all of that length and space into the spine, hugging those ribs in and up so you're completely core connected. Just finding some stillness in this downward facing dog. Take one last big inhale. Exhale, looking forward in between the hands, and we'll step the feet slowly towards the front of the mat. And taking your feet hips width distance apart. Inhale, finding space into the spine, lengthening forward, and then exhale, fold inwards. Feel free to bend the knees here if you wish, resting the torso onto the thighs. Interlace the fingers around opposite elbows and just hang the torso heavy. So we're really starting to wake up the back of the legs, getting into the hamstrings, but don't drop those shoulders into the ears, really roll them up towards the sky. And you might sway a little bit from side to side, maybe shifting the weight forward, shifting the weight back. And taking one last breath. And slowly releasing the hands down onto the floor. Inhale, lengthening, and exhale, folding. We'll roll up vertebrae by vertebrae, stacking through the spine. Head is the last thing to come up. And shoulders roll away from the ears. Tadasana, standing at the front of the mat. So take your toes to touch, heels slightly apart. And pick up all of your 10 toes and just spread them wide onto the mat. So we're rooting down through all 10 toes. And placing the hands through heart center. We've got a lift up through the base of the feet, so rooting through all 4 corners. Inner thighs are engaged. And thighs fully lengthening up towards the sky. Tailbone is lengthening down towards the earth. And chin is tucked slightly towards the chest. Taking a few breaths, and whenever you're ready, just setting an intention for your practice today. So maybe your intention is fully feeling grounded. It can be anything else as well that you wish. If you're newer to the practice, maybe it's focusing on the breath. Take one last inhale, just seal your personal intention, and then exhale, let it manifest. Slowly opening through the eyes, we'll go for a few rounds of grounding, sun salutations. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up and out to the side, gazing upwards towards the fingers, palms touch. Exhale, palms float through heart center, hinging from the hips, diving the chest down, forward fold, relaxing the head, relaxing the gaze. Inhale, lengthening into the spine, creating all of that space. Exhale, planting the hands down, we'll step both feet back into a high plank pose. Just holding, feeling the connection between the hands and the feet. Tailbone is slightly tucking under, shoulder blades are spreading apart. Take one last breath. Drop the knees to the ground. Shift slightly forward over the wrist, bending into the elbows, lower chest all the way down. Inhale, lifting up, low cobra. You might even hover the fingertips off the ground. Just noticing the muscles of the spine And planting the hands down onto the floor, tuck toes under, press the floor away, and send the hips all the way up and back, downward facing dog. Let's take 3 breaths in our downward facing dog. Big inhales. Big exhales, trying to match those inhales with the exhales. Finding as much length into the right side body as the left side body. Take 1 last breath. And look forward in between the hands. We'll step the feet to the front of the mat. Maybe it's 1 big step, maybe it's a few little steps. Inhale, finding length. Exhale, folding inwards. Bending into the knees. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up and out to the sky. And exhale, hands back through heart center. Let's go for a second round. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, folding over the legs, forward fold. Inhale, finding space into the spine. Exhale, planting the hands, stepping both feet back, high plank. Exhale, either lowering the knees or go for a full chaturanga, shifting slightly forward. Lowering the elbows, maybe you hover. Inhale, rolling into that upward facing dog or stay in that cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Remember, it is your practice. It is your time on the mat, so really listen to your body and modify if you need to. Take 1 last breath. Inhale. And exhale. Looking forward in between the hands, and we'll step the feet to the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen into the spine. Exhale, folding over the legs. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up and out. And exhale, hands meet back through heart center. Let's go for a final round. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, folding over the legs. Go as fast or as slow as you need to. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, planting the hands, stepping back, high plank. Exhale, lowering, chaturanga, your version. Inhale, roll in the chest, rolling the shoulders away from the ears, collarbones spreading wide. And exhale, downward facing dog, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Take 1 last breath. And then look forward in between the hands. We'll step the feet to the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen into the spine. Exhale, folding over the legs. Bending the knees. We'll sink the hips down towards the floor. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up to the sky, and we'll come into a chair pose, Utkatasana. We'll shift the weight back into the heels, lift all 10 toes. Breathe. Hold for 1 last breath. And then straighten out through the legs. Exhale, hands through heart center. We're going to go for a bit of a balancing warrior sequence, so go with the flow. Bending into the knees. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up to the sky, chair. If you want more of a challenge in this Utkatasana chair, feel free to stay here if you need, or rising up high onto the balls of the feet. Ooh, a little bit wobbly today. And sink the hips, lift the heart high. Hold. Take 1 last breath. Maybe hands meet through heart center. Heels down towards the ground. Inhale. Exhale, folding over the legs. Inhale, lengthen into the spine. Exhale, planting the hands, step back, high plank. Exhale, lower, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg reaches up towards the sky, keeping that hip square. The heel is moving up towards the sky and the toes are dropping down towards the ground. And then as you exhale, draw that knee towards the nose. And slowly step that right foot forward in between the hands. Right hip back, left hip forward. Left arm stays down. Inhale, right arm reaches up, twist. And take a breath in here. Breath out. Leaning back into the pose. Gazing down. Placing both hands down, framing that front foot. Or reach both arms up towards the sky, high lunge. Feel free to drop that back knee down if you need to. Take an inhale. And an exhale. Inhale here. Exhale, spin on the ball of that back foot, turn the hips and the shoulders towards the side. We'll move it into a warrior two, so reaching both arms out in front of you. The front knee is over the ankle, knee is moving open towards that back wall behind you. The shoulders are dropping away from the ears, heels are aligned with each other, back leg is straight. Taking one last breath. And then flip the front palm up. Inhale, reverse your warrior, reaching all the way up, back. And then exhale, we'll take the right forearm onto the right knee, use that as a bit of a prop. And inhale, reach that left arm either up to the sky, or you might take that left arm all the way up and over by the ear. Allow the fingertips to relax, feeling that long line of energy from the very base of that back foot, all the way through to that left hip. It shoots out through the left fingers. Feel free to go for deeper variations. If you want to take the hands down onto the ankle, maybe you take hand onto block or onto the floor. One last breath. Gazing down. Inhale, start to rise all the way back up, warrior two. Straighten out through that front leg. And we'll reach forward, Trikonasana triangle pose, so hinging from the front hip, evenness and space between right and left side body. Right arm places down either onto the shin, maybe the ankle, maybe it's the top of the foot or the big toe. Inhale, left arm reaches up to the sky. And spreading in between both shoulder blades. Taking one last breath, really rolling that right shoulder away from the ear. And we really want to avoid hyperextension into that front knee. Gazing down. Inhale, start to rise all the way up. We'll flip the front palm up. Inhale, reverse your triangle. Exhale, slowly coming back to center. Hands come onto the hips. We'll angle the hips forward, the shoulders forward towards the front of the mat, and slowly just step that left foot out towards the side. So the right hip squares back, left hip squares forward, and the left toes are slightly turned inwards, heel is slightly outwards. Inhale, lengthen into the spine, and exhale, folding over the legs. Maybe taking fingertips down onto the floor or onto a block, or maybe keeping the hands onto the hips. Inhale, finding space, and exhale, folding inwards. Pyramid pose. Take one last breath. Inhale, lengthen into the spine. Maybe taking left hand inside of that right foot or on the outside. We'll go for twisting triangle. You might even take it onto a block for that extra height. Inhale, finding space. Taking the right hand onto the lower back, checking that the sacrum is square, right hip back, left hip forward. And exhale, start to twist towards that right leg. Feel free to shorten your stance if that back heel likes to lift off the ground. And sometimes you find this deeper twist if you need to have a bend into the right knee. And sometimes I like to do this anyway, bend into the right knee, find the deeper twist, then maybe start to straighten out through that right leg if you have the room. One last breath. And slowly just releasing. Hands come back onto the hips, rising up halfway. Hands move through heart center, shifting the weight forward into the front foot. Back leg gets lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. Warrior three. Just breathe and smile. No balances are tricky postures, but they're really, really, really grounding. Take one last breath. And bending into the right knee, slowly standing up to center. Feel free to toe tap or hug that left knee right into the chest. Stand up tall. That right big toe is your anchor. And then flexing into that left foot, ankle, calf, inner thigh, tree. Left knee moves out to the side. Left hip is hugging in. Breathe. Noticing the inhales and the exhales. If you want a little bit more of a challenge in this tree pose, you might see if you can close your eyes. And that's when things get Really tricky with balance, because instead of using your vision, you're really using all of the muscles to support you. Just keep a playful spirit if you wobble or fall. And then slowly releasing and planting both feet either side, pedaling out through the feet. And bending into the knees, sink your seat. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up to the sky. We'll come into our chair. We're going to go for the opposite side. And sinking the hips low. Lifting the heart high. Maybe coming up behind to the balls of the feet, squeezing the ankles in towards each other. Feel free to stay here, or you might send the hips down towards the heels. So you're hovering in this low squat position. Maybe hands move through heart center. If you want an extra challenge, you might even split the knees apart. Turn the toes slightly outwards. I might face you to do this. Heels move together. And the knees apart. This is a tricky balancing pose. Hands move through heart center. Breathe and smile. Embracing the wobbles. And take one last breath. It's really great toe stretch. Hands move down onto the floor. I'm going to face back this way. Squeeze the knees back together. Inhale, one breath up, chair. Exhale, fold over the legs, forward fold. Inhale, finding that length into the spine. Exhale, planting the hands down, stepping back, high plank. Exhale, lowering, chaturanga, maybe hopper. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Left leg reaches up towards the sky. Keeping that hip square. Extending that heel further up towards the sky with the breath. And then exhale, rounding, knee towards nose. Step the foot all the way through, in between the hands. Stay on the ball of that back foot. Setting up your foundation here. Left hip back, right hip forward. Right hand stays down towards the ground. Inhale, left arm reaches up towards the sky. Really press firmly down into that right hand as if it was a side plank. And you're really stacking left shoulder directly on top of right. One last breath, leaning back into the pose. Bit of a tricky transition. Gazing down, left hand down, squaring off the hips. Feel free to drop the back knee down or inhale. Use your core. Use your legs. Rise up. High lunge. Hold for a few breaths, really starting to get into that right hip flexor this time. Knee is stacked right over the ankle. Exhale, spin on the ball of that back foot. Turn the hips and the shoulders towards the side. If you need to widen your stance a little bit, please do. Extending both arms out, warrior two. Just find that rooting in towards the ground from the feet. And as you inhale, the breath really moves up towards the heart center. And then exhale back down into the earth. And flip the front palm up when you're ready. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Hold for a breath. Exhale, elbow comes onto the knee. Inhale, right arm reaches up towards the sky. And slowly maybe reach it all the way up and over by the ear. And feel free to go for deeper variations. Maybe hand comes down onto the floor. And take one last breath. Gazing down. Inhale, start to rise all the way up, warrior two. Straighten out through that front leg, maybe angling the back toes inwards. Hinging from the front hip. And the left arm floats down, either shin, maybe it's ankle. Inhale, right arm reaches up. Trikonasana, it's one of my favourite postures. Left hand lightly landing. You might even hover it off the ground, utilising some of those oblique muscles. And slowly gazing down. Inhale, start to rise all the way back up to centre. Flip that front palm up, inhale, reverse your triangle. Beautiful stretch for the side body. Exhale, slowly coming back to center. Hands come onto the hips, we'll angle the hips towards the front of the mat, the shoulders squaring towards the front of the mat. Walk the back toes in ever so slightly. Right toes turning in, right heel outwards. Inhale, lifting upwards through the chest, shoulders squeeze towards each other. Then exhale, hinging slowly, slowly, slowly. Extending the chest towards the front thigh. Extending the arms out. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, folding. Feel free to keep the hands under the hips or maybe blocks underneath the hands. Even maybe a slight micro bend into the front knee as well. And imagine here that you're pouring something into that left leg so the torso becomes really, really heavy and just melts into that thigh. Inhale, lengthen into the spine. We'll go for our twisting triangle, taking the right hand down either onto your block, onto the floor, inside or outside of that left foot. Inhale, finding space, and exhale, starting to twist towards that left leg. Maybe left arm reaches up towards the sky. You might even walk the back toes in if you need to, or towards the center line a little bit more. Just breathing into the pose, breathing into the stretch, the length along the spine. Gazing down. Slowly, we'll transition into our balance and into our tree. Hands move through heart center, bending into the left knee. Sneak it forward, warrior three. Feel free to go for any variations with the arms. Maybe arms reach out to the side. Maybe hands stay at heart center, or you reach the arms all the way out in front of you. One last breath. Bending into the left knee to cushion the transition. We'll rise all the way up to our standing position, maybe toe tap, take a break, or right knee hugs into the chest, stand up tall. Flexing into the right foot, take it either to the ankle, the calf, or the inner thigh. Right knee moves out to the side, right hip hugging in, hands move through heart center. Breathe. Maybe close off the eyes. If you did it on the other side, try it here. It's tricky. It's even worse when you try to do it while you're talking as well. Keep a playful spirit, embracing the wobbles. It's how you build a lot more strength. Or take one last breath. And slowly hug that right knee into the chest. Place it down. Inhale, reach both arms up to the sky. Exhale, folding over the legs. Inhale, lengthen into the spine. Exhale, planting the hands down, stepping back either straight to a downward facing dog or high plank. Exhale takes you into your chaturanga. Inhale, lifting upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Knees drop to the ground, toes to touch, send the hips towards the heels, extend the arms forward, child's pose. Child's pose is definitely one of my favourite grounding postures. It really brings you back into the present moment, back to the breath. And just allows you to soak up the postures that you've already just done as well. You just went through quite a strong warrior sequence, which ended in a balance. Now we're really going to find some grounding postures. So when you're ready, just rolling up to a seated position, kneeling position. We'll just extend both legs out in front of you. Slight bend into the knees. Maybe just removing some flesh from underneath the sit bones. Inhale, reach both arms all the way up to the sky. And then exhale, folding forward. We'll go for Paschimottanasana. So either taking the hands either side of the legs. You might even take the hands side of the feet. Inhale, finding space. And exhale, folding forward. 2 more just like that. Inhale, finding space and length. And exhale, folding forward. Last time, inhale, finding length and space. Exhale, folding forward, and we'll hold. And breathe. And the breath just moves you deeper into this pose. And slowly, when you're ready, we'll just rise up to a comfortable seated position. And take the soles of the feet together, knees come out wide. Let's go for more of a diamond shape. And taking the hands onto the shins. Inhale, finding a lift into the spine. And exhale, folding it forward. Just start to settle in. And with every exhale, you just release the whole body into the ground. And you notice the size of the feet, the sit bones, rooting down. Maybe it's the fingers, forearms. And slowly rising all the way up to a seated position. We'll draw both knees in towards each other. Just give yourself a squeeze. And then placing the soles of the feet down onto the ground, send the hips down towards the heels, extend the arms all the way forward, and we'll just roll all the way down onto our backs, vertebrae by vertebrae. I'm going to move my microphone out of the way. I hope you're still upright and you haven't made it to the ground just yet. Use your core. And softly lower down. Hug both knees into the chest. Give yourself a squeeze, maybe a little rock from side to side. And place the soles of the feet down onto the ground. And you'll just graze the backs of the ankles with your middle finger. We're going to go for a lovely heart opener. We're going to go for bridge pose. So slowly rising up, lower back, middle back, and then upper back. And this is our only back bend that we're going to do in this practice. So make it really, really great one. And if you have any deeper back bend variations, or any other back bends that really are calling you right now, please feel free to venture there. So it might be a full wheel. You might interlace the fingers back behind you, rocking even further up onto the shoulders. Just keep the breath flowing. Inhale, breathing up into the heart center, expanding there. And then exhale, breath moves back into the earth. Take one last breath. And slowly just releasing, lowering down. Upper back, middle back, and lower back. We'll bend into the knees, flexing into the feet. Take the knees to the outer upper arms. And maybe taking hold of the soles of the feet or the backs of the knees. You might sway a little bit from side to side. Make this really happy pose, happy baby pose. And just smile to yourself, just honouring the time that you've spent on your mat. And just by spending short few moments on your mat, it can really change your mood, it can change your outlook, it can completely change your day. And slowly just hug both knees into the chest. And place the sole of that left foot onto the ground, flexing into the right foot. Take the right ankle over the left knee, and the right knee will move outside. Just be really mindful of that right knee joint. And keep that right foot flexed. And thread the arms through, taking hold of either the thigh or maybe the calf. Inhale and exhale, drawing that knee in towards you, trying to keep the whole back imprinted down onto the earth. Taking one last breath. And slowly releasing. Hug both knees into the chest. We'll go for the opposite side, so placing the sole of that right foot down onto the ground, left foot flexes. Left knee moves out to the side, interlace the fingers through. The thigh or the calf. Inhale and exhale. Just breathing more space and lightness into that left hip. And on different days, our bodies feel completely different. Just notice you might have a little bit more space from the last time you did a hip opening posture. Or you might notice that it is completely tight today, so just honour that. And don't force anything. The body will just open up with time. Take one last breath. And slowly releasing, draw both knees into the chest. We'll go for one final supine twist. So dropping the knees all the way over to the left side, extending that right arm out, or you can go for more of a cactus arm if you want to bend that right elbow. You might even go for eagle legs, wrapping the right knee over the left. Gaze is soft over the right hand. Just allow the breath to flow into the lower belly now, just expanding. And exhale, release. Maybe closing up the eyes if you haven't done so already. Really turning inwards. And slowly, when you're ready, knees hug back into the chest. We'll go for the opposite side. So this time, knees drop all the way over to the right side. Extending that left arm out, maybe going for that cactus arm. If you did that on the other side, rooting down through both shoulder blades. And the inhales and the exhales. And the exhales are twice as long as the inhales. Maybe going for those eagle legs, so you did that on the other side. And slowly just draw both knees back to center. And we'll move it into our final Shavasana, so extending right leg out, extending left leg out, and turning both palms up to face the sky. You might shake the body loose a little bit, release all tension. And we'll just do a full body scan, so we'll start from the ankles, and we'll move all the way up to the crown of the head. Just allow the ankles to move out to the side, and just allow the inner thighs to soften. Muscles of the legs can release. And the hips can feel cradled and fully supported by the earth. And the muscles of the back can release. elongating and lengthening into the spine. And shoulder blades release onto the mat. And back of the head and the neck. Just allow yourself to be fully in the present moment in this final posture. If you need a focus, just imagine there's an element of warmth moving from the very base of the neck all the way down to the heels. Just inviting in the breath. And because this is a really grounding flow, I'm going to end our class in this Shavasana, so feel free to take as long as you need in this final Shavasana. And thank you all so much for tuning in. Namaste.